Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So we're going to get a little deeper into this. We're always asking, is a narcissist going to change? Can they change? Will they ever heal? Will they come back? Are things going to be good? But let's look at that a little deeper. We can kind of see based on societal norms who the problem maker is. We feed into it with our reactive abuse. It turns into a toxic relationship. They fuel the fire. We blow air into it, and it gets worse. So we look back. We are like, we should have done these things different. If we handle things differently, is it possible to have this relationship with a narcissist? But the narcissist is a whole different breed, and I've noticed a pattern. And I've done it too. I'm just as guilty, where we're like, will the narcissist change? Is there hope for this? And we reflect back on the things, that fueled the fire. But we're wanting them to change. And, when we talk to the narcissist, can you be nicer? Can you acknowledge me more? Can you do this? Can you do that? It is a solution. It's a solution, but we're asking them to change who they are. Based on society's needs, we all need to get along. So yeah, it'd be really great if they could change. But that's like a real hard feat for them. It's just like if I was mourning over my father dying and I'm crying and I'm crying, and you're like, I want to hang out with a happy person. And you're like, I'm going through this. I need to cry right now. You're like, yeah, but I need to be happy because we have so much fun when we're happy. Um, I'm being me in that situation where I need to grieve. I need to go through things. I might need some time. Eventually, I should come around, kind of get out of that depression, but it's something I need to go through. Narcissists are going through what they're feeling. That's who they are. They don't grow out of that. It doesn't get better for them. We go through the grieving process, but the narcissist is in a sense kind of like grieving their childhood. And so it's almost like they get confused in a sense where they want this perfect childhood that they never had. So it seems fantastic, the thing to achieve. So they can't be honest and walk up to you and say, I'm a jerk, but I'd love a life with you. So they fool us. They put on the act. Um, and we open the doors to them, and we give them chances. Then they get uncomfortable with that. I've related it to, if I got dressed up at Halloween where I was, a famous person, where it's really cool, but it's not who I am. So I don't feel fulfilled acting all the time. And that's what the narcissist is they're like, it's a facade. I just want to be me. Just like if I'm grieving my father, like, it's great. You're taking me out to all these things, but I need to be me right now. And, will they change? We can only work on ourselves. We can offer suggestions. It's up to them if they change, but they're going to choose what they need. They're not going to choose what we need. And so we can only change ourselves. And are we going to change to make them happy? I don't think we should, because we're caring people. That's a good quality. So are we willing to make a relationship and listen past this, because it's an important point at the end. But if we change how we are, where we're like, okay, we can argue all the time. Okay, it's cool. You blow me off. I'll cry. So you get an ego stroke out of it. We're never going to be happy being something we're not. And the narcissist came into our world. They're never going to be happy in our world. So the only thing we can change is ourselves. Do we want to be a miserable person to match up with them? And this is where it gets tricky. The narcissist is kind of confused on where they need to be. They get supply when they bullshit, and they flip flop because they also get supply when they abuse. And I talk about the brain chemistry, where it's soothing to them to lie. It's soothing to them. Just like maybe eating ice cream or something when I'm mourning a loss of a parent or something like that. There's certain things that are soothing that we'll do. That's why we comfort eat, which try not to do that. But sometimes we'll do that. We're trying to soothe something. The narcissist is trying to soothe something, but they do it in a toxic way. And um also too with the cheating, and they don't all do that, but a lot of them do. Also with the lies, word salad, like all these soothing techniques that they have are to our detriment. And that's the thing to remember, that when they need to be soothed, it's not a hug, it's not better communication, it's not love, it's not going on a vacation to kind of take away a break, because they're going to tear apart that vacation. um because just like if you took me to the movies when I'm like, no, I need to grieve my dad, it's not gonna be a solution. So we're offering solutions that aren't gonna work for the narcissist. What works for the narcissist is where they stay in their comfort zone, where it's all about them. My second narcissist even said that everybody knows it's all about me. People don't always know that. I'm sure they don't know that they signed up. They just know that's the only way that they can get along with the narcissist. But it leads to failed relationships. Um, it's never healthy. And we have to remember, the only person we can change. I don't see you guys on average saying, if I lose the weight, or if I work out, or if I get a different job, or if I'm calmer when I speak to them, if I stop asking so many questions. A lot of us don't focus on us when we're asking, will it get better? Some of us do acknowledge the things that, through the reactive abuse, the things that we've done. But for those of you who are longing your narcissist, that's the Stockholm syndrome. And, they say that we're longing for ourselves because that's when we expressed it during that love bombing stage. And the narcissist moves so quickly that, some are slower, but when we ask them to to make the relationship work, we're asking them to be somebody different. And they just want to be liked for who they are. Just like you want to be liked for who you are. You don't want to change your personality to be with someone. You shouldn't do that, because then you're acting through your life, and that's what the narcissist does. They act through their life, so they don't live their life. And when you don't live your life, you're dead. Even if you're physically, your heart's beating, you're on this earth. That's why, some people if they're in the wrong profession, they get depressed because they're not expressing who they are. You shouldn't have your job define you, but you can. I'm a teacher. I'm expressing myself, and I need to do that. So whether it's a paid thing or like, that's who I am. I took on an art teacher position because I'm creative. I get to express myself that way. I've done other jobs. I was a costume designer, had my own business, sold worldwide. I was creative. I was expressing myself. That's a part of me. That's what makes me happy. And we all need jobs, but you're happier when you're who you are within whatever it is you're doing. And the narcissist just wants to do what they want to do. But it's for self-serving purposes. I get to express myself in a healthy way. I provide costumes for people. They've been in, I've done minor league professional cheerleading outfits. I've done dance recital outfits. These people get to use these. Some of my costumes have been in commercials, to where there's a benefit to it. And that helps those people. It helps me. The art teaching, these kids get to learn and be proud of themselves. Like it's a balance, and that feels good. But there's no balance with the narcissist. And to lose yourself is, to be with somebody is not going to make you happy. So we can change. but it's still a facade if it's not who we are at our inner core. And the narcissist doesn't want to change. And when we start saying, could you do this? They take it as, you don't like me. And you know what? We don't like that. And that's where I want you guys to stop for a minute and really pay attention to that. The narcissist loves to scream, or give you the silent treatment, or pick up and leave when they want to go do whatever they want, which is, you can't confine somebody. You have to allow them to do that. But when it's in a relationship, we worry about them. And, sometimes something as simple as, hey, just let me know, where you're going, or, but they take it as an attack. And you can't effectively communicate with a narcissist, because if you're like, hey, I saw you got your keys in your hand. Are you going to the store? Which store are you going to? And you're just like, I need milk. I was wondering if you could pick it up. But they attack you before you can even express things. And it sets you off. It's that butterfly effect I talk about. That their communication style, their low self-esteem turns everything into an argument or into being dismissed. And when we'll just say they just gave you the silent, like, I'm just going to the store. You're like, I know, but which store are you going to? Like, do I have to tell you everything? And you're like, whoa, this was not supposed to go this way. It was, whoa, where's this coming from? I'll go get the milk if I need to, but I just wanted to know if you're going to go to the grocery store. We got to be more expressive too. Like, hey, I was only asking because I wanted to know if you had, if you're going to the grocery store, but they twist it. So we have to work on things too, on how we communicate. There's one other thing I wanted to tell you guys. This is what, we have to deal with narcissists in our lives. Everybody has some form of narcissism. This is what I did wrong. Comment below if you do this wrong. We give them the tools to fuck with us. And something in my upbringing, I always feel it could be, I haven't pinpointed when it really happened. It could have been when I was with my first narcissist. I met him when I was 17. To where we always feel we have to justify things. Could you call me because I'm missing you? Could you call me because I needed to ask you? We just need to stop. We just need to say, hey, can you call me? Yes or no. Keep it very direct with them. They will try to deflect. We don't have to give them reasons. When we give them reasons, let's say I had says, could you call me? I wanted to ask you about this weekend. So when we give them that extra little portion of the conversation, they're like, I don't want to talk about this weekend, or to where they can decide whether or not we deserve an answer to something. They shut down the conversation. And it's weird how it works, but it's almost like we should intrigue them to talk to us, because we have to deal with, whether it's a coworker. Be careful in the narcissists that you do deal with. Some you have to just shut out of your life, but some, for whatever reason, whether it's through child custody or different situations, sometimes we do have to talk to people. And don't give them extra fuel. Don't explain why. If somebody's like, can you, narcissists love to do this. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? Because they want to ask a favor. And you can just come back with, can I help you? And they can tell you what they need. They're like, because they'll be like, I was just wondering if you're busy. Just come back with, well, is there something you need? As opposed to giving them, even if you're like, oh, I'm hanging out with my sister right now. Because then they get angry that, oh, your sister's more important. It just turns toxic when we explain ourselves. And that should be a good conversation. You're busy? No, I'm talking to my sister. Oh, okay. Can you call when you're done talking to your sister? hanging out with your, but they twist everything around, and it's exhausting. So we're asking this narcissist to be exhausted, to try and live in our world. And this is where it gets tricky is we're like, but we were in our world. During that love bombing stage, it felt like we were in the same world. The narcissist was acting at that time. Imagine right now, if you had to change your whole life into acting like you're a different religion, act like wholeheartedly acting against what you believe, um, wholeheartedly, I'm heterosexual. I couldn't imagine having to act a different way. Um, so we're getting that deep with the changing the narcissist, you know, it's not who they are, you know. I love my Jewish friends, but I wouldn't want to pretend I was Jewish all the time. I wouldn't want to pretend that I was a lesbian. Like I couldn't do that. That would not be me. And the relationships I would develop, the paths I would go down, it wouldn't be a true connection. Like I love my Jewish friends. But all the conversations that we would have, where I'm reiterating what they believe, it's not helping me. And I can acknowledge what they believe. But it's not me expressing myself. If I come to my Jewish friends as a Christian, I can tell them my perspective. They can tell me theirs. We can agree to disagree or kind of pick up like, maybe there's something to that. Um, but we have to be true to ourselves. And when we lie about something, it's not going to give us a full life. So our narcissists, we're asking them to live a lie. And yes, they should change. The life would be so much better for everybody if they felt the beautiful love that we feel in this world. They don't feel it, and it's a hard concept. You know, there are people who don't have nerve endings to feel physical touch. It's hard for us to understand that because we don't live it. Some of us too are like that. Oh, I got arthritis. Man, that'd be awesome not to feel everything. But if you would live that world, you'd be bumping yourself, cutting yourself, burning yourself. We deal with pain, and it's helpful. So when you think of, I've had broken legs, I'm a burn victim, multiple times I needed stitches, couple car accidents, different things like that. And there's times you're like, I wish I didn't feel this pain. But when you look at it, you're like, I guess I am lucky I can feel that. I'm lucky. It hurts like a bitch sometimes, but that's a blessing. So the pain we feel right now, it's still a blessing. It's a warning sign. People who can't touch things, they miss out on the warning signs. The narcissist doesn't feel in their heart like we do. They miss out on how to handle it. It's a warning sign when we get upset, like, oh, I just yelled at that person. How do I fix it? We feel. They don't feel it. They're like, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I yelled at you. You irritate me. They're missing the feel part of the relationship. The only feeling they get is internal. But their triggers are from the outside. And, when you're whole within yourself, I have to do a different video on this. I was watching Sam Vaknin on how the narcissist is self-sufficient. They only need people for narcissistic supply. I'll go ahead and talk about it now. Because uh, I'll touch on it and I'll do a different video. With like porn, masturbation, things like that. They were saying how most porn is like body parts. It compartmentalizes things. It's just different objects. The body part, the sexual body part, the genitalia, and then it's objectified. Narcissists objectify people. Um, And also with masturbation, the narcissist, you know, some of them can self-please. They really don't need it. It's instant gratification. It's an object. Their thought processes are different on it. When a healthy person um, masturbates, that it's more a quick little fantasy, not a whole storyline. The narcissist does something different. I'll say that for a different video, but they get angry when their self-sufficiency is threatened, um, to where they want something and they just feel entitled to get it. They have to have narcissistic supply because they're not whole within. And when we're in a healthy state, um, we don't we don't need others to regulate our emotions. We can self-regulate. The narcissist can't self-regulate unless they terrorize us. And sometimes they don't even have to do anything. They just ignore us and check in every now and then to see if we're upset about them. It's an ego boost. So, can the narcissist change? You know, we're asking them to be somebody they're not. And they should change. We need them to change. But the only way, and this thing, I can't even say it that way. I was going to say the only way for it to work is if we change. But it doesn't even matter. No matter what you would do, I feel like, fine. I hate it when he hits me. I hate it when he yells at me. Whatever your narcissist does to abuse you, if you were to take it, it'd only get worse. It wouldn't be appreciated. If you're like, okay, he's frustrated, I guess he needs to slap me. Don't ever do that. But if you were to accept that, it's only going to get worse. You're going to be more and more taken advantage of. It's not going to be appreciated. It's going to be expected that you just take the word calling. Even the self-aware are really struggling. And I just watched Lee Hammock's wife. There's still a lot of struggles, a lot of pain, and I can see through her words. She also, she said that she answers things with sarcasm. That's in a sense her defense mechanism. She's like, I've been trying to change that forever. So even just her sarcastic tone, she's like, it's ingrained in me. And I'm not saying she's a narcissist. I don't know enough about her. Um, well, I don't know enough about her, but I'm just saying for that personality trait, I can't change it. I've been trying to stop saying the word too much. I know I say the word too much, struggling with it. It's harder to communicate unless I use the word I sit here, watch CNN all the time. That's just what I watch. But this is the other thing too. I started watching it because I was at a hotel and for months because I traveled, and there I go again. So I started watching it, and I had this guy that I never met before hit me up on Facebook, and he asked me about, which news I watch. I told him CNN, and he's like, "Oh, you're a liberal." And people judge you for the littlest things. Like, I just out of habit started watching CNN, but I'm a conservative person. It has nothing to do with which I can weed through. I'm smart enough to weed through the BS and the mind manipulation you try to see them doing. But I watch the anchors. I'm like, they don't say I have to remember they're doing a teleprompter too. That kind of cuts down on it. But it's almost like if you were to come to me and you're like, Cynthia, if I'm going to be with you, you cannot say again. I mean, that's not a big deal. Okay. So let's say you're like, that kind of irritates me. Don't say again. It's going to be a lifelong struggle. And we're asking our narcissist to change who they are, just like that Lee Hammock's wife. If you said, don't be sarcastic ever again, and she's struggling with it, So if she's going to communicate with you, she's going to be on the up and up, and she's going to be like, I'm really trying. But if she was to get agitated, it's going to come out. Just like if I get, I really try. If I, really need to tell you what I need to tell you, it's going to come out. So even when you're conscious about things, when things get tough, the subconscious will surface, and your narcissist subconscious will surface when things get stressful, whether it's their job, finances, the way you guys get along, picking up the kids, the stressors of, the kids' school, whatever it is, they're going to go back to who they are. Just like she's going to go back to being sarcastic. If I'm at a loss for words and I'm starting to get frustrated, I'm going to use the word M. And is that a Freudian slip that I'm starting to change? Now I'm going to say M. But the narcissist is who they are. They can become self-aware. But when they need to be themselves, they're going to be themselves. I hope that helps. Hope it makes sense to you. Comment below on your thoughts on this, because a lot of us still want our narcissist. If they would just change this, it'd be so beautiful. And you're right, probably would be. But we're asking them to feel something that they don't feel. And if they felt it, they'd do the right action. They don't feel it. They don't feel it. So it's asking somebody who doesn't have the feeling to go through their lives not knowing what they can touch. It makes sense to them. All right, I won't touch a hot stove. They see a new animal, and they want to pet it because they were taught, as long as they're not ferocious, that, you can touch a mouse, you can touch a chipmunk, you can touch a squirrel, you can touch whatever. Then there's some whatever, and they didn't realize they had barbs all over it. It's like an unsafe world to them. So the narcissist doesn't know what to touch. They don't know what is safe. They don't know how to handle things. So they just shut it down. They run scared. They run scared. And that's why they ghost. That's why they do the silent treatment. And to me, that is treating you like you're dead and you're still alive inside. That's the worst thing to do to somebody, is make them feel dead or worthless. That's all the silent treatment shows. You don't mean enough to acknowledge. And you're worth so much more than that. So comment below. I'll acknowledge you, because you are worth something. I'll see you in the next video. Put a smile on for me and enjoy the day.